Mana Deprived and Terror present you, loving people, with Dark Ascension Review Part 3. And we have entered the realm of Red, which I must say is very good and goes great with Innistrad. On its own in Dark Ascension, I don't know. But here's your first werewolf, and it destroys artifacts, which I think is very good because I think that artifacts have been getting a lot more play recently, and there's some artifacts in even this set or Innistrad, for example, Invisible Stalker, that this card can really deal with, and 4 mana for a 3/2 that turns into a potential 5/4. And if it destroys an artifact, lightning bolts your opponent, pretty good. Alpha Brawl, I do not know. I wish I did. No idea why they make cards like that. I am not sure. One day I will play it, and something will happen. Burning Oil is another addition to the red-white deck. It deals 3 damage to a blocking or blocking or attacking creature. It's an instant, and it has a flashback of 4, which is fantastic because, well, to be honest, we don't have a lightning bolt. We may never have a lightning bolt. Blood Feud, 6 mana for 2 creatures to fight, I think is way too much. Curse of the Bloodletting, I don't talk about curses. Endwall Ripper, 2/1 haste, when it deals damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it. So it's 3 mana for a Blood Craze Neonate? I don't get it. Faithless Looting, you all know about this card, but after playing with it in the beta, wow, I really gotta stop doing that. After playing with it in the beta, it's an amazing card. Not only in the early game, but in the late game, it is just fucking amazing. Fire of the Undeath, and I know my mouse is probably on different cards, but I'm reading and doing this, blah blah blah. Fire of the Undeath is a bounce back shock. I really like this card a lot. Flare of the Hatebound, 4/2 Undying, deals damage. It's okay. That's all I gotta say. They reprinted Fling. I don't know why, because they just reprinted it in M12, whatever. Forge Devil, I think, is a great card. It gets rid of those early 1/1s that white, or even black, will tend to play. Heckling Fiends can get rid of those really pesky creatures. I think it's a great card, 3 mana for a 2/2. Werewolf, Hinterland Hermit, I'm not a huge fan. Increasing Vengeance, another Burning Vengeance card. It's that simple. But when it comes to Hinterland Hermit, it's a weird card because if you get it out early, it can cause a lot of problems for your opponent, but it could also help your opponent. Oh, by the way, if you hear that in the background, that was Dzeko scoring a goal against Liverpool in the Carling Cup. Then we got Hellrider. Whenever a creature you control attack, Hellrider does 1 damage to defending player. I see that potentially being a one-of in red deck wins. I kind of like that card. I won't lie to you. I think that card does have potential. I mean, because there are other red cards that are really, really good. Like, for example, Markov Blademaster could be a pack 1 pick 1. It's got double strike, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on it. That card is pretty nasty. I mean, there are very few creatures early game that can kill it. Markov Warlord, I'm not a huge fan of. But, I mean, 6 mana for a 4/4 with haste. 2 creatures can't block this turn? That's pretty good. Moon Dronin Shaman, Tovalor's Mage Master. It's got a lot of stuff going on, but in the end, for 4 mana, it's a fairly fragile 3/2 that you're only going to have one of in your deck. And if you're, unless you're playing green-red with Moon Mist, I just don't see it. I'm not the world's biggest fan, to be honest. I mean, it's interesting, but whatever. Moonveil Dragon, because apparently every set has to have a dragon, could actually be really good in a red-white deck. as a one-of. I think that's a rather interesting card. Near Heath Stalker is a great card. Great. Yes, I know it's a 4/1 for 5 mana, but just the fact that it's a 4/1, and I'm talking about the wrong card, but it's a great card. Pyreheart Wolf, in my opinion, may be one of the best creatures I've ever seen. I mean, late game, it's nearly unstoppable. It's got Undying. It's 3 mana, and it makes your creatures so much harder to kill. Russet Wolves. I like this card. 4 mana, 3/3. Much better than some of the other cards. Scorch the Fields, destroy target land, 1 damage to each human. That sounds kind of stupid. Discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards with flashback. Not a huge fan. Once again, another Burning Vengeance card. Talons of Falconwrath could be used in limited, but it's like Rally the Peasants is used in limited, very fringe. Torch Fiend, sacrifice Torch Fiend, destroy an artifact. And Wreck the Madness, target creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. Another useful card. All in all, I think red is an extremely strong color that may get looked over because of the fragility of its creatures.